Hey y'all, I'm Anna. Welcome back to my channel. We're gonna get into episode 2 of Adults Adopting Adults on A&E. So let's start off with Jenny, Michael, Felicia, and Tony. So Felicia and Tony are the adults that are trying to be adopted, and they're going to be adopted by Jenny and Michael. So they all sitting outside and they just discussing how this has been the third time that they've tried to get adopted by Jenny and Michael. And the reason being that it's taken so long for them to be adopted, the first time they tried to be adopted was because Jenny owns a restaurant, cafe, and she told them that she couldn't get the time off, and which is understandable. When you're a business owner, sometimes you can't get the time off if you ain't got the staffing. And I've heard that most of the time when you're opening up a restaurant, it ain't never easy. Like, you're gonna go through not having a staff. I worked at places where they didn't have the staff and the owner had to be there. So it's quite possible that that's why she couldn't do it. She missed the court date. And Jenny feels like Felicia feels some type of way that she didn't make it to the court date. But you can't feel no type of way, baby. Is this how I'm feeding my family? You can't feel no type of way. That comes first. You have to feel how you feel, mama. Like, you're an adult. This is not extremely necessary. So relax. She didn't say she wasn't going to adopt you anymore, but she probably already feel abandoned because Felicia and Tony's mother used to be on drugs. She was on drugs. She abused alcohol. And the reason they all know each other is because Jenny and Michael went to high school with Felicia and Tony's mother, and she was always troubled, Michael and Jenny said. So the second time they didn't get adopted, oh no, I'm skipping ahead in my notes. So she couldn't get coverage. The mother was on drugs. Yeah. And this is the only situation on this show that I feel like isn't a scam or some weird shit. Speaking of, the episode title is, this is all very weird. And I feel like that's fitting for the entire show because this is all very weird. But I don't feel like this particular situation is strange. Tony and Felicia had different fathers. So when Felicia was old enough, Felicia ended up being separated from her mother by the state. And they sent Tony to her father, and I guess they sent Felicia to foster care. I don't think, maybe I'm unclear on what the situation was about that, but that's what I believe happened. And when Felicia turned 19, she ended up getting custody of Tony because, come to find out, Tony's father wasn't taking care of her. Like, Tony said that she would walk around smelling like cat pee, and I'm like, that's ridiculous. Like, the system. I'm not going to get into it because I'm going to go on a tangent. Anyway. So, as they got older, I guess Tony's and Felicia's mother remained to be on drugs and alcohol, and she would probably usually call and say that she wanted to harm herself. And a month before Tony's 21st birthday in 2014, the mother actually did end up committing suicide. And Tony blames herself for her mother committing suicide because her mother ended up calling her and telling her that she wanted to harm herself. And I think she texted her, one of the two. And Tony ended up telling her, you say that all the time, call Felicia, I don't got time for this. And then the next day, she ended up finding out that her mother actually did end up committing suicide. And I'm like, that is so terrible. Like, and I understand why she would blame herself, but her mother was troubled, and she probably always meant it and just never brought herself to do it. But you can't blame yourself for, somebody doing that, because that's something that they were dealing with internally, and sometimes there isn't anything that somebody can do to stop them. But I know she feels like that she could have if she would have not dismissed her mother and was just like, oh, whatever. But I take that very seriously. When it's been times that people have told me that before, and I try to be there and, try to understand where they're coming from, because I won't want to hear that about anybody. And I know life be hard, but it's help out there. There's hotlines, like, it's help out there. And know that it's people out there that can help you get through it. So, fast forward, basically, they made it seem like it was going to be some stipulations with them getting the same paperwork that they filed. They want to see if it's still valid, if it ain't expired. And Felicia and Tony's lawyer ended up calling down to the courthouse and trying to figure that out. But the court told Miss Lawyer that Felicia need to carry her tail down there and do it herself. So she got to go on down there to the courthouse. They're probably going to get it done. Felicia said at the table that she's going to make sure she confirmed dates with everybody, because everybody needs to be present or the adoption can't happen. So that's all that happened with them. We're going to move on to Kim, Joe, Vicki, Joe, and Valerie. So this one confuses me because it's two Joes and then it's two V's. I'm trying not to trip up, but I might. But we're going to try to get through this. So, where is this? I'm sorry. I lost my notes. Mind you, I'm not going to say for Felicia and Tony least interested, because that is a touching story. But I'm going to be going least to favorite in this episode, because I'm honestly here for the mess. So we're going to save the mess for the end. So where am I at with Kim, Joe, Vicki, Valerie, and Joe? I'm going to call Kim's husband Joe, Joe K. And I'm going to call Vicki's husband Joe, Joe V. Let me put that in my notes. Joe K, Joe V. And then Val. I'm saying Valerie is a lot. So Kim is up at 6 a.m. talking to the camera, saying that this is her baby's birthday, her daughter's birthday, and they're having a birthday party. And she's planning on telling her mother at the birthday party that Vicki and Joe V are going to be adopting her. And I'm just like, why is that? Why are you doing that at 6 a.m.? Like, think about finishing up what you need to do for your baby girl birthday party. And stop trying to think about this mess that you finna kick off. Because you know this finna be some mess. I don't know how she even feels like this is gonna go well. Like, I think she really believe. No, she said she don't believe that. She said she think her mama gonna flip her shit. But why even do that if you know that she's gonna flip her shit? I feel like this is unnecessary. Joe K also feels like this is unnecessary and that this is awkward. And they show them at the party, and when Vicki and Joe V first walk in and Valerie is there, Kim introduces them to one another, and Valerie is like really outgoing and, you know, trying to be very welcoming to them, and she was, you know, thanking them damn near profusely about, you know, thank you for stepping up and being in my daughter's life, and, you know, being there when I couldn't be there. And Vicki is kind of like, she iffy. Like, she trying to be nice, but at the same time, she look a little uncomfortable when she making little faces. So, they have these little figurines on the table, and Val ends up asking who made those, and Vicki ended up saying, oh, me and Kim made those. We make things all the time. We bake. We text back and forth when our husbands are getting on our nerves. And I'm just like, she ain't asked you that. She said, who made the figurines? You doing a lot. This is this lady first adopted mother. How dare you sit up here and be jealous? Like, just because Kim probably talked shit to you about that lady at the end of, and because that lady ain't talked to her for 8 years, which is bogus, and that shouldn't have went on. However, I understand. You can't be mad. How's you mad? That ain't really none of your business. Like, you need to play it to the back. Scoot back a little bit. Shout out to Jamie. That's me. You can't be upset. Like, what do you mean? So, Kim is putting, I think she's putting she either lighting the candles or she putting the candles in the cake. And Kim is like, where's grandma and grandma? And when she said that, her husband walked up and he liked it. He was like, grandma and grandma. And she was like, yeah. He was like, and he walked off. He like, you know what, let me get off this camera before I say something stupid or make a face. But you already made a face. We saw you. Like, we know you think this is foolish. And he ain't got the heart to tell her. I mean, he don't. He trying to have the heart to tell her, but he can't really flat out tell her because she is the type of person that make logic where there isn't really any logic to be made. So Kim and Val ends up getting by themselves again. Not Kim and Val. Vicki and Val end up getting together by themselves off to the side. And Valerie is, you know, thanking... before that, Kim and Vicki end up sitting down together. Kim, Vicki, and Joe V end up sitting down together. And Vicki is like, well, it looks like you and your mother are getting along fine. And she was like, yeah, I mean, we trying to build our relationship. And Vicki's like, well, that's good, but, you know, I'm feeling some kind of way about that. And then Joe V is like, well, how do you feel? And she was like, Well, I don't, told Vicki, I don't know why you feel like that. Like, I'm still, gonna go through with the adoption. And then she was like, but me and my mom are, rebuilding our relationship. And what happened? She said something to the effect of, Kim ended up saying that her mother apologized to her about everything that happened. She ended up blaming her father. Valerie ended up blaming Kim's father for how her upbringing ended up turning out. And she also apologized for everything that happened. So Kim is having an emotional moment, and Valerie is basically sitting over there and was like, that's cute and all, but is we still finna do this adoption or what? Because I'm not going anywhere. And it's just like, first of all, let this lady have her moment. She all teary-eyed, and you worried about you because you're selfish. Come to find out, I don't know if I mentioned this in the previous video, I'm thinking that Vicki and Joe V don't have any children, but I went back. They have 3 boys that just don't have kids right now. So y'all just thirsty for grandchildren when maybe grandchildren weren't in the cards for you. Or maybe you need to be patient. Like, you can't force yourself upon these people's family if they trying to repair their family. Like, I don't like how Vicki is acting. Like, she's becoming real possessive. She's getting real jealous. And also, not only does she not have any grandchildren from her boys, Joe and Vicki had a stillborn girl. So she's yearning to have a mother-daughter relationship and to have grandchildren. But you can't take somebody else's. Like, it's weird. Joe K, Kim's husband, doesn't even understand why the arrangement can't stay how it is. He don't understand why it has to require, real legal adoption. And Kim has rationalized it as it making sense in her head. And I'm just like, so you really finna do this and hurt your mama feelings? Because that's not even your real mother that you're trying to get separated from. That's also your adopted mother. So they get home from the party. And Kim tells her mother, she's like, how do you think the party went? She's like, oh, I think everything went well. I like Vicki and Joe V, and I'm so happy that they were able to come along and be in your life. I'm so happy. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about something. I'm so happy that they, were able to come along and be in your life. Just real optimistic about it. And I'm just like, you don't even know that this one's about to drop a bomb on you. Like, so she making them drinks, and it look like she got some vodka, like some I don't know, Absolute, one of them. I don't drink vodka. But she pouring them drinks, and she ended up pouring her a little extra vodka in there, like, I need to make mine a little stronger. And they kiki about that. Then she gone over to the couch, and she like, yeah, so about Vicki and Joe, they're gonna adopt me. And the mama like, what you mean they finna adopt you? For what? And she's like, well, it really has nothing to do with you, because I did this within the time that you and I weren't speaking. And I'm just like, the way she worded it, it felt like she was actually doing this out of spite. Because her and her mother wasn't talking before, because I feel like that's messed up, because that's not even your real mama. Like I said, you about to separate yourself from her and just place yourself in a whole nother family. So Val feel like, well, F me. You just can dispose of me and you gonna go on with them and create, a little family with them when I'm your mama. Like, I don't know. It's messed up. Mama took her mic off and she said, "I'm devastated." And she ran up to the room, and Kim down there looking stupid, crying while simultaneously taking a drink of that vodka out her cup. I'm just like, you need to get a grip. You and Valerie, you and Vicki need to get a grip, because y'all don't have to do this legally. You finna hurt this lady, and for what? Y'all already have established a relationship. If you said that them your baby grandparents and they call you grandparents, then that's what it is. Like, people call each other cousins and family all the time, and they don't be blood, but you get treated like blood, so what difference does it make? For some paperwork, like, you an adult. Like, this is unnecessary, but this is adults adopting adults, so I guess we wouldn't be here if, Anyway, let's move on. Rambling. Joe K is a good one, because I know he is super annoyed with her, because I'm super annoyed with her, and the way he be looking in that confessional let me know that he like, this is foolishness. I don't really want to be a part of this, but if we gonna get a check, then sure, but you gonna get all these faces that I'm making, because this is still very much happening and very much weird, and you want to put it on TV. Child. Anyway, let's get to the people I want to talk about the most, which is Danny, Christy, and Elena. So they open up with Danny cooking breakfast. I don't know what the hell kind of slop he was making, but it looked like he was frying ground turkey, and it wasn't finished thawing. Like, he was scraping it as it was in the skillet, and I'm just like, I know you can do that as ground beef, but I don't know, everything about that house just gives ick. Like, it's gross. Like, all I can think about is all them damn cats, and then we gonna get into it. So they open up with Danny admitting that he cheated on his wife. He said, "Yeah, I cheated on my wife, and I'm disgusted with myself. I'm sorry about it." But he also wants her to get over it. Like, and you can't just expect somebody to get over, like, cheating, because we don't know how long ago it was. I don't think they ever talked about how long ago it ended up being. So they picked up where the last episode left off, where Christy got upset because Danny wanted to share that he's cheated before, and they, just their intermarital affairs, and it's just like, I don't want her to know all of that, because if she know that, she gonna probably feel like it's easier for her to slide on in there and get you. Because Elena used to be homeless. She was homeless back in Austria, and she also said she'll do anything to stay there. So I absolutely believe that she'll sleep with that creepy ass man to stay in that house. But it damn near ended up backfiring on her in this episode. But we're gonna get there. Christy ends up bringing up the fact that Danny has a pattern, and he ends up, when he finds something that he's interested in, he wants his way, he gonna get his way, and he really don't give a damn about how Christy feel about it. And Christy said this is a pattern. And I'm like, if it's a pattern, that means, to me, my understanding of a pattern is something that is repetitive. Correct me if I'm wrong. And he only said he cheated one time. But you saying that he has a pattern of when he gets interested in someone else, that he don't care about anybody else, and he gets real ornery, I'm assuming, because that's what he's showing. So yeah. What was I saying? I lost my train of thought. I think he cheated on her more than once. Christy says that she's empathetic to Elena, and that's why, part of the reason why she's letting her stay there. But I don't believe that. I believe that Christy is insecure, and she probably feels like that she wouldn't find anybody else. She doesn't have any children. Like, she just got her fur babies. And she probably feel like that she won't find anybody else. She's an older woman, and she just deal with his bullshit. She says she don't like to be confrontational. She just, let shit happen. Let the chips fall where they may. And it's just like, ma'am, you can't just let shit happen to you. Like, what do you mean? So they ended up taking a walk through the property, and Elena ended up stating that you never know what people, you having a different impression of people when you talk to them versus when you actually meet them. So I'm assuming they gave this persona that they had money, which I don't doubt that they have money, but they got this massive amount of acres and beautiful property, and everything would be nice for her to come and live. So I think she thought that they was wealthy and they had a nice place. They walked her through they acres of land. Apparently it's 3 generations of property in the back. It looked like a damn junkyard. It's just trash everywhere. She telling Eliana, watch where she walk, because the pig used to stay over there. And Eliana is like, why did I come over here? Oh, okay. Yeah. That's her the whole time. Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. That's great. And Danny talking about, this is something I want to leave a legacy to. Sir, don't nobody want that shit. They need to scrap all of that. Get rid of it. Because the whole land is disgusting. And Ileana don't honestly know what she's gotten herself into. And my darling, you don't. Because that man like you. Because he been making little innuendos. He also told her that it's cameras all over the property. So that made her even more uncomfortable. She like, so they watching my every move. I'm like, yeah, this man probably going in the basement somewhere, or while he on at work, looking at you on the camera all day, every day. That's what he would do in his spare time. So they end up going baby shopping. They went to Once Upon a Dream. When I first watched the episode, I thought that was an expensive place, but that's actually kind of a thrift store for babies. So everything is like basically hand-me-downs. So he's telling her get whatever she want, and Christy is just like, get whatever you want. And she like, don't say that out loud, because other people gonna hear you and try to get at you. I'm just like, all that passive aggressive shit ain't gonna get you nowhere, man. But okay, go ahead if that make you feel better. So, Danny ended up asking Elena about her baby daddy, like what ended up happening with him. So apparently she met him online, and after he found out she was pregnant, he blocked her on all social media and he never talked to her again. So I don't know what the situation was, but you ain't got no business on no app trying to do anything with anybody if you don't have a place to stay. Your priorities were not in the right areas, but I don't know what her situation was, so I'm gonna be quiet. Danny ended up asking, like, were you in love with him? And she like, I mean, no, not really. We dated for a little while, but you know, it really wasn't nothing, and I had to just, you know, move on. Like, he stopped talking to me. So, he only ended up spending like $100 at that store. After that, they end up going to the doctor's office, and when they on their way into the doctor's office, Danny is like, oh, we'll be there for you. We won't leave your side. And she was like, actually, maybe it's only Christy. Maybe only Christy should come on to the back with me. He was like, oh, okay. He felt slighted. Like, I don't want you all up in my coochie if she finna be doing an exam. Like, no, thank you, sir. You can stay outside and Christy can come on inside with me. So they come out the doctor's office. They couldn't film in the doctor's office. So when they come back out, and they get to the car, Danny opens the car door for Elena. He's like, let me get the door for mom. And Christy was like, oh, I'll fend for myself like I do all the time. And then Danny's like, oh, if I keep opening the door for you, Christy's gonna get jealous. And I'm like, you both are making this very awkward for this girl. Like Christy said, their marriage is not in a place for another woman to be coming into their house. And furthermore, when was the last time you told your wife to go to the store and get whatever she wants? When was the last time you opened the door for your wife? Because you probably weren't opening it before Elena came along, and now all of a sudden you opening doors for people. Oh, since when? Because you don't do it for me. Like, just doing a little extra goofy shit that is showing that you are probably attracted to this girl, and it's gonna be more of more than a platonic father-daughter situation. You weirdo. So Elena is a high-risk pregnancy. They say the baby is in the 3rd or 1st percentile. I don't really know what that means. I don't have any children, and I didn't take a step further to look. I'll look that up. I'll be more thorough in certain stuff, but I feel like it's irrelevant, so we gotta even say that. So she had high-risk pregnancy. And she said her visits are gonna be weekly. And he like, yep, not a problem. You come first. And I'm just like, you come first? You don't even know this girl. It's about you come first, and you taking her to get baby clothes and probably all types of other baby stuff, because she didn't come with anything. So she has nothing. You literally are starting from scratch with this girl and her baby. So you basically are bringing in another wife, and she's just a ready-made wife. She already came pregnant. Like, what type of weird? This is weird. He is weird, and I don't like this, and I feel bad for Christy, but at the same time, I don't feel bad for Christy. They get the bill from the doctor's office, and it's talking about the doctor's visit. It's over $700 for this visit, and I'm just like, y'all got that bill that quick? Y'all be paying them? I'm sorry. Like, I ain't got it right now to be all the hospital bills. I ain't got it. But that's neither here nor there. Christy is not feeling this situation at all. They flash to later on during the week, and apparently Danny is, a truck driver, and he travels for work. So you done brought in another girl when you're almost always on the road. And now Christy is going to have to pick up the slack for where you're going to be lacking because you're not going to be there. So Christy has to take her to these appointments. I didn't sign up for that. I didn't ask for none of this. And she said that in the confessional, like, people be asking me, like, were you and Elena friends? And she like, no, she wasn't my friend. Like, I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for somebody to be in my house. Like, this basically was all him. And Danny it said he's been gone for most of the first week of Elena's arrival. And I forgot to mention, Elena talking about, no, I'm getting ahead of my notes. So he's been gone this whole time, and Christy is saying that is in the car. No, I'm messing up. Give me a second. Danny tries to work on the road most of the week. Oh, Danny is on the cam while he's at the airport getting ready to go for work. And he thinks that Christy is holding up well. Meanwhile, we flip to Christy, and Christy is in the car, in the driveway at home, crying. With all this baby shit in the background. Look like maybe a stroller or possibly a little bouncy thing. Just something that you have to assemble for a baby to be in. And not only that, Christy is talking about, Elena says that the trailer, she doesn't like it. She wants it to be remodeled because it's not conducive for a baby. And I'm just like, ma'am, homelessness is not conducive for a baby either. And had you not met them, that's where you were going to be. But you didn't think about that when you were sleeping with the baby daddy that blocked you. A F boy that you should have known was going to hit it, and then, alright, see you later. So, girl, what are you talking about? Like, help me understand. I'm confused. Daddy is sitting up there talking about, oh, I'm so happy to be a grandfather, and I'm going to be a grandfather in 3 weeks, and I'm already a father. You know, everything is just going great. And like I said, Christy is in the car about to have a nervous breakdown because she's not happy about this situation, and she says it's really hard. And I'm just like, Danny, you're an asshole. This is really selfish, and this is not what your wife wants, and you know that, and you don't give a shit. And like I said, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I was laughing when she was crying in the car, because you don't have to take this. You don't have to take this. You can leave that man. You ain't gotta be with him. Like, it may be hard for you to find somebody else, but you don't got to deal with that bullshit. I'm sorry, because I wouldn't. I'd put my hands on Danny. Elena wouldn't have made it to the house because he wouldn't have tried me like that. No. You already cheated on me with somebody you was trying to adopt, you pervert. We're not doing it again. But anyway, that was Adults Adopting Adults. This is lengthy, 40 minutes. I hope you guys stuck around. Season 1, episode 2. And catch me next time for episode 3. Alright. Peace.